Can you believe it? After months of campaigning, we are now just one day away from Election Day. Today, both Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are spending the day traveling the battleground states, making their final pitch to voters.
Our CBSN political contributors are here. Kevin Sheridan, Liz Smith. Kevin is a Republican strategist, and Liz, a Democratic strategist. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you.
So, Liz, I want to talk to you about the final ground game here. So much of the buzzword of this election cycle was how Hillary Clinton had the better ground game. Where are you seeing that really pay off for her?
In the early vote. In Florida, in Ohio, in North Carolina, we're seeing great turnout, especially among new voters and low propensity voters and Latino voters. And if she keeps on pace and if we see the turnout that we expect tomorrow, she should win Ohio by a small margin. She should win Florida by the smallest of margins, and she should win North Carolina.
Do you buy those numbers, Kevin?
No, I think Donald Trump should win Ohio, and I think he's got a real fighting chance in North Carolina. I think Florida is a jump ball, and I think that is going to be the place at 8 o'clock on Tuesday night that we see whether or not we're in for a long night or it's all over. Hillary Clinton's the 45th president of the United States. We'll know. If it's called early, done. Game over. Same goes with North Carolina. But I do think there's a fighting chance for Donald Trump. I think he's stronger than Liz gives him credit for in the Midwest, and I think that even extends possibly to Michigan.
I was going to ask you, Michigan, you think is in play? And Kellyanne Conway thinks even PA is in play.
We've fallen for the PA, the white whale of the Republican Party for way too many times. We were there the last night in 2012 with a 30,000-person rally in Bucks County, and we thought, this organic groundswell was coming our way, and it didn't pan out. I think Pennsylvania is a really tough state for Republicans. The numbers just aren't there. The cities and the suburbs, and especially those suburbs right now, for Donald Trump, are not going to go with Donald Trump. Those are the married, educated white women who have just been turned off by his general approach.
But those are the same people that are turning out in Ohio right now, and that's what gives Democrats a sense of optimism, is the turnout in Democratic-leaning suburbs, and also the gender gap. We've seen many more women turn out to vote than men in Ohio, and that obviously bodes very well.
What changed this time around, Liz, with the early voting? Republicans have historically been much better at getting out the early vote. That's been one of the strong aspects of the election cycle. What happened this time around?
Well, it really started to change under President Obama, and we just realized, look, that with these new laws where you extend it, you now get out the vote is not a one-day thing. It's a multi-week process. And for a lot of our voters, right, they work different hours, and it's the same too with Republicans, so I don't want to overgeneralize. So Democrats just made a decision to invest in this and to make sure that we run a 30-day GOTV plan rather than, a one-day GOTV plan, and it's paid off in 2008. 2012, and hopefully now in 2016.
Where the Democrats could possibly be in trouble. We don't talk enough sort of about the down ballot candidates, particularly the governorships. How could this really hurt Democrats this election?
Well, okay, so no one ever talks about the governor's races, but there are some big ones up this year. We've got Missouri, we've got Indiana, we've got New Hampshire. The one that's gotten the most attention is North Carolina. And Democrats have a very, very good shot, and I think Democrats will turn that blue because of the interesting dynamics there.
Why is the governorship so important when it comes to Congress?
It's so important. And look, in 2010, there was a big Republican wave. You had all these Republicans elected governors, and they are the ones who help dictate what the congressional lines look like. And so whoever we elect, either in 2016 or 2018 or 2020 to be governor, they will dictate what the makeup of the next Congress looks like. And so when people think, oh, governors, they just care about state issues, it actually impacts everything. It impacts everything. So it's not just at the state house. It impacts the makeup.
And governors
of
are the bench traditionally for the presidential candidates. So Republicans have 30 governorships right now. You're right. Those are very tough battleground states. I think North Carolina is probably the toughest of that list. Also, the Senate is going to be extremely tight, and I think a Kelly Ayotte, it's going to come down to a New Hampshire with Kelly Ayotte. It's going to come down to Missouri. Pat Toomey in Pennsylvania. All of those are going to be extremely tight. I think Rubio in Florida looks good. McCain has cinched that, I think. Indiana's looking really good for Republicans. So we're gonna have a lot more to talk about on Tuesday night than just the presidential.
To that, Kevin, before James Comey's letter to Congress 11 days ago, Hillary Clinton, it was almost sort of a victory lapse of sort in that they were going around thinking that they might actually have a chance to affect some of these down ballot races. Are Republicans feeling a lot more comfortable now?
Yeah, I think it's hard for the momentum to have changed that much with the Comey letter stopped the negative news cycle on Donald Trump. He was already having a pretty good couple of days there. She then went into a negative news flow like nothing I've ever seen before because of that letter. And I think, Comey coming out at the last second and saying, well, now it's shut. I don't know that changes. A lot of people have already voted.
Right.
And a lot of people, this is set into their mind that the FBI was involved with Hillary Clinton once again. I think that renounced to Donald Trump's benefit.
Kellyanne Conway was on CBS this morning, today, and she was saying that the rumors weren't true, that some reports that Trump has had his Twitter account taken away. She said that's not true, but it does appear that he stayed on message.
He's not on Twitter. I haven't seen a tweet in hours.
So what do you make of that? Is that helping his campaign that he's
Absolutely. Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Imagine the race that he could have run had he not tweeted at all.
Yes.
Had he not done the 3 a.m. tweet after he got baited into that tactic by Hillary Clinton during the first debate. Had he just stopped with all of the crazy statements that he had made, he'd be up 5 points right now.
They love that about Trump, that he just speaks his mind.
The number of people he loses every time he does that, it can't even be expressed. I mean, that's what has turned off the white women vote, the educated people in the suburbs that just can't get their minds around. A guy who tweets late at night is just not somebody they can vote for.
But I don't understand that argument of, when people say, well, he speaks his mind, but if he's saying things that are misogynist, or if he's saying things that are racist, or if he's saying that he wants to not allow an entire religion,
right,
because you have some people who have distorted and perverted that religion. Even if you're a straight talker, that's like the uncle at the house at Thanksgiving who's had a few, and you're like, let's just tolerate him.
But everybody has an uncle.
I've got a whole family.
It appeals it appeals to a sizable number of people, gets them really excited, but it does cut off huge swaths of the American public, and that's the big problem, is where the Republican Party goes from here. How do you go from having a candidate who, as you said, disparaged an entire religion, talked about Mexican immigrants as criminals and rapists, and has said multiple denigrating things about women.
So much of Donald Trump has been him going with his gut throughout this campaign. One of the go with your gut moments was sort of not standing by Marco Rubio's side. We saw a major surge when it came to his primary there. Could this election have cost him not sort of teaming up with Marco Rubio? Because this area, this Miami-Dade area that we're looking at, is his heaven. That's his territory. That's where he's strong. And, the Panhandle is sometimes where he could use a little bit of a boost from Trump. Could that have made a difference?
Donald Trump has barely even teamed up with his own running mate. I think he's been an island unto himself, and he's always going to be that. You're not going to be able to separate Donald Trump. The personality that he is, that drives him to be the way he is, that got him the nomination, is who he is. And he was always going to run his presidential race the way he was going to run it. Now, they have gotten their arms around his Twitter account. They have been able to show a little discipline in the last 2 weeks and let the negative news flow play out on Hillary Clinton. And he's been mostly sticking to the teleprompter. I mean, even when he's set the bar so low for himself, it's below the floor, that whenever he just sticks to about 95% of the teleprompter and says a couple of crazy things, that's a good day for Donald Trump.
He's told himself to do that. He said, stay on message, Donald. Stay on message, Donald.
Liz Smith, Kevin Sheridan, thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.